everybody, it's Allie. Welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, January 20th, 2019. Normally I like to start out Y&R Chat with my top story of the week. And this week, my top story is a little bit of a behind the scenes story. So I was watching, I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday's episode, but all of a sudden, around the bottom of my screen, there was a scroll that was saying, "We want your opinion about The Young and the Restless. Go to this website and take a survey to tell us what you think about the show." Yes, please. I am in. 100% in for Y&R Survey that actually gets to people who are in control of Y&R. Yes. So I go to the website, I do the survey, and it was so enlightening. Like, I feel somehow as if this survey is Y&R really giving us an opportunity to tell them what and who we want to see. I mean, the questions on this thing were really specific about which characters you want to see more of, which characters you want to see less of. It was on a scale of like 1 to 5, I want to say. I can't help but feel that there are some contracts that are going to be affected by this survey. I mean, it was just such a wonderful opportunity to go in and sort of anonymously and privately say who I really like and who I really don't like. And they also were asking about what types of stories we like versus the ones we don't like. I mean, I gave my best and worst stories. I think they were asking for a time span of the last year, and I just so happened to have finished the 2018 Y&R Chat year-end affair, wherein I talked in depth about my best and worst stories of 2018, so I just used those. I gave my best, I gave my worst, and it felt so good to unload about the ones that I really liked and the ones that I didn't like. They also were asking about the best couples on the show. I think that's telling because sometimes we feel like we just get forced into whatever couple it is that they want us to see, whether or not the fans are really into it. So it was nice to be able to vote on that. They also asked how often we're watching the show and if we are watching it now more or less than we used to. And I think this is possibly the most scary question that was on the entire survey. They asked why we watch Y&R, and it was on a scale from I watch it because I genuinely enjoy it and am engaged in it, and on the other end was I watch it out of loyalty. Isn't that kind of interesting that they're wanting to know, okay, the freaks who actually watch this stuff, are they actually watching it because they like it, or are they watching it because they've been watching it for 40 years, 45 years? I think that's a good question because, I mean, for crying out loud, there are tons of people who are ready to jump on and say, I've been watching the show since the beginning and I hate it now. Well, I'm sure that the writers and the producers and the people behind Y&R are wondering the same thing that I wonder when I hear that comment. Why are you watching then? If you're not genuinely engaged, why are you watching? So I made sure to vote that I am engaged in this show. I wouldn't watch something that I didn't love. So I just thought that was really, really interesting. So I want to encourage as many Y&R chatters as possible to go and take that survey because it might actually be one of the only things I've seen in a long time where I feel like Y&R is actually giving us a chance to impact not only the show but the stories, the characters. I made sure in my comments to give props to some of the other little touches that I love when Y&R gives us. I love that they to give us our beautiful sets. I said I want to see more of our sets. I want to see more of our fashion. I liked, you know, the idea that some of these people are fabulously wealthy. I want to see more of that. It just was wonderful to actually feel like I had someone's ear at Y&R who might be able to influence the future of the show. And if you remember, even just a few years back, the future of soap operas was very much becoming dicey. So I hope everyone goes and takes this survey. I have it especially posted at yrchat.com. The link is really long and convoluted and I wouldn't be able to recite it. So just go to yrchat.com. There's a link from there directly to the survey. Get your 2 cents in. This is your chance. If you watch the show and complain about things or rave about things and you don't take this survey, you can't keep complaining. You have to tell them what you think so that they know what we want. Oh, and be sure to come back to the website and at yrchat.com and dish about what your answers were, because we've been doing a little bit of that on the watch and chat thread throughout the course of the week. I really wish that I would have thought to copy paste my answers before I submitted it, because that would have been fun to share. I wish it could have been a big interactive survey that we all could take together and see each other's answers. That would have made it even more fun. But you can go to the website and talk back and tell us who you voted to see more of, tell us who you voted to see less of, which are your favorite couples, what are the good stories, why you watch. I mean, all of it. There's so much good dish that can just come from this. So that's my top story of the week, and I hope you go and make it one of yours. One other really quick behind the scenes note. We are right in the middle of a cold snap here in my part of the world, and normally I would turn the heat off for Y&R Chat so that the audio quality is as good as possible, but it's just so cold and I can't turn the heat off in the house with my daughter in it, so please bear with me. You might hear a little bit of a low humming sound under the audio, and hopefully we will get back next week to a little bit more reasonable winter weather. Winter showed up this week. I mean, we got a bunch of snow dumped on us, and it's gotten cold and crazy and sloppy here in Genoa City, Wisconsin. So, all right, now to our main dish. Nikki this week comes clean to Nick about JT's death. I wasn't expecting her to be this forthright. She told him everything, how it happened, why it happened, even the details of what they did with JT's body. Oh my gosh, the look on Nick's face when she told him. I mean, he looked stunned. I screen capped it, of course. He just looked absolutely dumbfounded, but he must be so relieved to finally know the truth. I think Nikki is so relieved to finally say the truth to someone, and I am so relieved that the truth, at least in part, are out. Of course, Nikki didn't tell Nick anything about Sharon and Phyllis's involvement in the debacle. She much more focused on why she did what she did and the actual process of disposing of JT, and the fact that she's now being haunted and taunted. And more than anything, my takeaway from that original reveal scene with Nikki and Nick was how relatable Nikki's explanation to Nick was. I'm sure that Nick was thinking the same thing that we were thinking at the time and now, that any mother, anyone would really have done what Nikki did on Margarita night. She didn't try to murder him. She struck him one time to try to save her daughter. And hearing the way she told it, the way she talked about it even now, made me feel even more sure that if I were in Nikki's shoes on that night, watching a man endanger my daughter, to be completely honest with you, I probably would have grabbed the fireplace poker and stabbed him to death with it multiple times. I almost feel like Nikki's reaction wasn't strong enough. I feel like I would have whacked him and then I would have proudly taken the rep. I would have, and I just would have said, you know what, I did it. He was trying to hurt my daughter. I would have stood up and I would have accepted it. I mean, of course, everybody would like to say that they would be strong in that situation, but it just seemed then and now to be so absolutely justifiable. And that was Nick's reaction too. He wasn't judgmental toward her whatsoever. He immediately snapped into family mode. Protect the family. Wonder where he gets that from. He beefed up the security at the ranch, and Nikki tries to regroup herself. She unbeefs the ranch sitting room by removing all of the liquor bottles that are there. She pours all of the delicious, tasty, tempting vodka right down the kitchen sink in a very dramatic scene. So Nikki's back. She is trying to be the strongest version of herself to just get through this. She decides to bring Victoria up to speed about the fact that the fireplace poker showed up, about the fact that she had to tell Nick the truth. And Victoria and Nikki talk through all of this. Victoria wasn't happy about the fact that Nick knows now, but ultimately Nikki explained herself. They cried, they embraced, and at the very end of it all, we, the audience, saw a scene where it was being revealed that that entire conversation between Victoria and Nikki, and probably all of the previous conversations, were being caught on camera. Someone is surveilling the ranch and seeing everything that's going on there right now, probably before, probably throughout the entire rest of the week, but none of them know it. Who is it? Oh, Lord, who is it? I just don't have any clues. I feel like the obvious answer is to me, I do keep coming back to Phyllis, wondering what Phyllis has to do with this. Nikki and Victoria do have another meeting with Phyllis and Sharon to bring them in on the all new depths of this mess. The fact that the fireplace poker appeared, the fact that Nick knows. It's so weird and ridiculous to me that that fireplace poker would reappear out of the depths of the murky lake that it was thrown in. I think Victoria had mentioned, or maybe it was Nikki, that possibly it could be a duplicate or one that just happens to look like the one that was used that night. But that is so specific. I mean, only someone who knew exactly what happened that night could possibly pull that off. I just don't know. I just don't know. I think Phyllis is definitely going into defense mode. Sharon, her reaction is seeming a little more soft, a little more similar to what her demeanor has been all along. Everyone's concerned for Nikki. Sharon was, in fact, so concerned for Nikki that she offered for Nikki to come stay with her and stay safe. Everyone is worried that Nikki is being haunted and taunted to the point where it could put her into some immediate physical danger. But Nikki is refusing to be afraid. She insists that she is going to stay at the ranch, accepting whatever amount of danger it might be, thinking, if they wanted to kill me, they would have done it by now. She's going to stay at the ranch and try to catch whoever is doing this to her. So late one night, Nikki is at home. She is relaxing. She is reading a book. And she starts to hear a bump and a rustle and a creak off in the distance. So she gets spooked and she runs over to her desk drawer. She unlocks the desk, opens up one of the drawers, and sees lying there a loaded firearm that's sitting, by the way, right on top of a pile of flowery stationery. Oh yes, that's right. Nikki Newman keeps her loaded weapon in the same drawer where she keeps her greeting cards. I find that hilarious and charming and also completely appropriate somehow. Like she keeps her gun right on top of her stationery and her pens, you know, just in case she needs to fire off an angry letter to someone. So she picks up the gun and she aims it toward this shadowy figure that is now coming toward her. She really doesn't wait to even see who it might be. She just fires off a shot and then around the corner strolls the great man himself, Victor Newman, returning home from prison. You see, all this time, all Victor really had to do was try a little to get out of prison. All he had to do was just hire a lawyer and then boom, out of prison. I mean, he could have done that at any point in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But no, he was choosing to sit there. I mean, I just find that notion so funny. Like, oh, he could have gotten out anytime. He just had to decide that that's what he wanted to do. Oh, if only Lily could just make that decision. If anybody else could just make that decision. That's the power of Victor Newman. So thanks, Nick, for coming up with the idea to hire Michael to be Victor's attorney. That's a great idea. Nick was able to convince Michael to represent Victor and get him out on bail and allow him to have one of those very fashionable ankle monitor bracelets or anklets. Victor has a fashionable GPS anklet. So he can't leave the ranch. He is at home, but he's on house arrest. So now that Victor's home, all of the Newmans have this new opportunity to come together to kind of rebond, but also to circle the Newman wagons, which are all emblazoned with a giant N on the top of them. And they can work together to get everyone on the same page, including Victoria, including Nick, to just lay out literally all of the evidence that's on the table and try to figure out who it is that is framing Victor and taunting Nikki. I will be curious to see what they come up with, and there's the issue of the surveillance. I just don't know anymore. I feel so lost with all of the possibilities of who it could be that I feel like I can't even venture a guess. I'm still trying to figure out how on earth exactly Victor Newman just instinctively and inexplicably knew that Nikki killed JT. Reed decides to go back to boarding school now that his work here in giving Billy and Victoria a reason to bond is done. Is it me, or was Reed only brought back just to bond Billy and Victoria for a week or maybe 2? don't get me wrong, I do think that Billy has been very sweet with Victoria. I appreciate his supporting her, but I am glad that it didn't go completely unnoticed in this little soap opera world of ours, that even though I believe Billy cares for Victoria deeply, he was trying to get back together with Phyllis a month ago around Christmas, and she was given his Christmas rings back. So his commitment is at least a little bit flimsy, I would say, and I'm glad that that was acknowledged this week. Last week I asked you guys, in this epic feud that is Phyllis versus Victoria, who are you rooting for? Grand majority of Y&R chatters, 86%, say they are Team Victoria. I think the majority of Y&R chatters did feel that Phyllis's outburst at JT's memorial, while it may have been very dramatic and entertaining, was highly inappropriate, especially when it came to Reed. I am surprised just a touch at how easily Nick did forgive her. I really thought for sure that there would at least be a little bit of a wedge between them after this, and maybe that's coming once it's revealed that Phyllis and Sharon also knew about the JT situation. I don't know, but Nick forgives Phyllis for her outburst at the memorial fairly quickly. They seal it with a kiss fairly quickly. It made me roll my eyes, but I guess in defense of Nick, I've rolled my eyes at Nikki for forgiving Victor for far, far, far worse things in the past. I think in some ways maybe Victor and Phyllis and Nick and Nikki have more in common personality-wise than they care to admit. So I am still Team Victoria when it comes to the Phyllis and Victoria feud. But as much as Phyllis was ticking me off last week, I was actually rooting for her when she let Victoria in on the fact that Billy is a love waffler. He's just flipping and flopping and waffling back and forth from one woman to the next, and somebody needed to call it out. Victoria needed to know that information. Was it revenge driven on Phyllis's part? Totally. I think it was revenge on Billy and on Victoria all at the same time, but I'm still glad that Victoria knows. And after Victoria knows, after Victoria finds out about Billy's waffling, she bumps into Kane. And darn it all anyway, Kane accidentally left his scarf at Victoria's house the other day. Wouldn't you know it? He accidentally left that scarf there. I mean, come on. That is an excuse if I ever saw one. The old left something back at your place trick, I don't think so. They go back to her house, and she's unloading about the state of her trials and tribulations, and Kane's unloading about the state of his trials and tribulations. And although it's wrong, I do think that this time Y&R did something a little more right, in that they built up a tiny little space between Victoria and Kane before they started going at it again, which made it easier to understand why what was about to happen happened. I mean, life is so damn hard, you know. It's just so damn hard that sometimes you just gotta grab onto the next married man who's sitting next to you and just try to relieve some of that tension. And you know, when your wife's all cooped up in jail and life's all hard and stuff, sometimes you just gotta grab the next woman who you hate to relieve some of that tension. It is wrong. Don't get me wrong, it is wrong. But there was at least a little sliver of something right there this time. I also kind of enjoyed Billy walking in. Billy walks right on in and sees things just as they were turning from a kiss to a hug that was taking place on top of each other. Oh, ha. Man, Kane hightailed it out of there really quick. He did not wait to see what the fallout was. He was just like, okay, whoops, bye. He left Victoria to deal with Billy and explained to him essentially that this is none of his business. She doesn't owe him anything, and what's going on with Kane doesn't even have anything to do with Billy. It's happened once before she learned anything about his trying to go back to Phyllis. And besides, what does Billy really even care? Victoria's just Billy's runner-up, right? He would be with Phyllis right now if Phyllis would have taken him back. She confronts him with that, and he can't really deny it. Billy is such a love waffler right now. And of course he tries to convince Victoria that he really loves her and that, you know, what happened with Phyllis previously, all of that just speaks for speaks for itself. He wants to be with Victoria now, and Victoria just tells him to leave. She may regret doing that, because where does he go? Straight to the prison to see Lily, who he's never bothered to visit before. He goes to the prison to see Lily, to drop this little ray of sunshine on her, while she is like a caged animal, unable to do anything about it. Nice, Billy. That's really nice. Tattle on Kane to his imprisoned wife. Kane is so totally sick with himself for what has just happened. He rushes over to Devon's penthouse in an absolute panic attack breakdown. It was a nice little piece of acting by Daniel Goddard. It reminded me that he really still can bring that intensity to the role. Kane has been somewhat of a docile character, and in some ways that has been a function of his relationship with Lily. They just became this superpower, actual super couple who really mostly has been used for romance and some cheating and stuff and whatever. But I don't know, there was just something about Kane's breathless intensity as he was talking to Devon where I felt it, and it made me feel re-engaged in Kane, re-interested in Kane, especially since Kane is just someone who's always a little bit messy. He wants to be better, and that's what redeems him, but he always ends up screwing up, and this time is no exception. He's telling Devon that he needs to borrow the private jet so that he can go see Lily immediately and save his marriage. Save his marriage from what, pray tell? Devon asks. Well, Kane needs to save his marriage from himself because he just kissed Victoria. He tells Devon the truth. He's got to tell somebody the truth. He's tired of hiding it. He confesses, says he doesn't even know how it happened. It was a blur. And now he feels that the only thing he can do is go to Lily and unburden himself. And Devon says, oh no, you are not. You are not going to go tell Lily about this. It has been taking everything that Lily has just to get through each day. You are not going to go to that prison now and dump this on her. But Kane doesn't have to, because Billy is going to do it. Kane agrees that the best course of action is just to keep quiet, but that doesn't mean that that's what Billy thinks. Billy is going to tell her Monday. He's going to tell Lily. And I want you to tell me, will Lily and Kane's marriage survive? YRChat.com, that's our poll question of the week. Will Lily and Kane's marriage survive prison? That's what this has all been, the main problem was. Lily and Kane's relationship had nothing that they weren't able to overcome before, but I don't know that that's going to be the case now. And I'm really curious to know at yrchat.com what you guys think about that. Do you think their marriage will survive? But maybe as a sub question, do you think it should? I just don't know. With the fact that the actress has gone on to recurring status, and just with the distant and empty look that is in their eyes as they are talking to each other lately, I can honestly see Lily finding out this information from Billy and turning around and serving Kane with divorce papers the next day. Seeing Lily and Kane together now is like seeing a hollow, empty shell of what their relationship used to be. Kane surprised Lily in prison this week with a really uncomfortable visit. He wasn't intending it to be, she wasn't intending it to be, but she didn't know that he was coming. She ended up having other plans, and he couldn't accept that. And even apart from all of that, Kane and Lily just cannot seem to get on the same page emotionally. I think putting their life and their active relationship, active marriage on suspension while Lily serves out this prison sentence, it's just so much easier said than done. They're both living in two completely different worlds, and they're both clinging to two completely different ideas in order to try to make it through it. Kane is clinging to this idea of when it's all over, he's going to take this romantic trip to Paris with Lily, and they're going to do all of these wonderful things, and it's going to be magic. It's going to be a magical reunion. Paris was the city in which they were married. This is a city that was very much central to their love story, and that's what Kane is clinging to. Their love story. But Lily is clinging mostly to the reality of her day-to-day tasks that make her existence in prison manageable. That's what she has to do to cope. She tells Kane, the good news to her, that she's been accepted as a teacher into this prison GED program. She's going to be able to contribute to offering a continuing education to these other female inmates that will actually be helping them to get some marketable workforce skills that they'll be able to apply once they get out of prison. I mean, 99% of the prison population doesn't have the option of being whisked away to Paris when all of their sentences are being done, served. Most of these women are going to have to go to work, and they're going to have to assimilate back into society. And what Lily is doing to help them is also helping her at the same time. It's also helping her clear out her karma too, and to work through the actual reason why she's in prison. What happened with Hillary? So Kane is here on the one side clinging to the past or to the future, while Lily is clinging to the here and the now. Kane only has his wife in the past or in the future, and Lily only has the here and now to get through, to survive. That's what she has to do to survive. And so it's really, really easy to see why these two people have needs from each other that are in conflict with what the reality of the situation is. It would be really easy to say that one of them is wrong and one of them is right. I didn't like that Kane threw his little baby temper tantrum when Lily chose to go to her scheduled class. It was like her first day of work to lead this GED course, and she wasn't expecting Kane to be there, and he asked her to ditch it, something that's really important not only to her, but to so many other people. I didn't like his little temper tantrum, but I also am trying to be sensitive to the fact that Kane is suffering too. I mean, he acted like a baby, but I also can tell that Lily's shift in perspective has not made it easy to have a relationship with her. There is something that's just very cold and very distant, and I think she has pushed him away because she cannot be helped by dreaming of him. That doesn't help her. She has found that the way through is by being practical, not by hanging on to Paris. And so I think she has pushed him away emotionally, and I'm not saying that means he should go out and kiss other women or anything like that, but I mean, I am trying to be sensitive to the fact that Kane is going through his part of this, and that's not insignificant. Neil made a cameo this week. I wasn't even expecting to see Neil ever again at the rate things are going, but he showed up this week to weigh in about everyone's life, give his 2 cents on what everyone's doing right and wrong. It's kind of what Jill did last week or the week before. But Neil, who is Lily's father, tells Kane that he understands what Kane's going through, but Kane just needs to be there for his wife, which is probably not really the pep talk you want your father-in-law. I mean, the father-in-law is always going to support his daughter, but Neil told him, you need to be there for your wife, and you need to support her, and you need to accept her for whoever she is at the end of all of this. But increasingly, I think the question is also becoming, who is Kane going to be at the end of all of this? Devon surprises Anna this week by releasing her remixed version of Fenn's hit single, which Devon doesn't know that she's also the writer of. But it's a huge hit. It's already getting a lot of attention, a lot of plays, a lot of downloads. Even Michael was grooving to it. He was listening to it on the earbuds, and he was getting his beeps and his bops and his bloops and his groove on. Michael Baldwin is so freaking adorable. I just would like for you all to know that I voted on the strongest end of the scale for more Michael Baldwin. I voted for more Lauren Fenmore. I also voted for more Tracy, Jack, Victor, Neil. I want my classic characters. Jill. I want my old timies. But there are some new characters with potential. But I don't understand why we're not getting Michael on a regular basis. He is funny. Christian LeBlanc does comedy and drama equally well, and that's not easy to pull off. When he's sitting there listening to Fenn's song and he's talking kind of loud because he's pretending that he's, you know, listening to it, it's just so good. He is a skilled actor, and Tracy Bergman is just the perfect opposite of him. More Michael and Lauren. Michael is smart and funny. He is the total catch, the total package. That would be my man. I think of all the men, I think I would have picked Michael Baldwin if I got my marrying man choice. I mean, I like some of our other hunks on the show, but if I'm gonna settle down and get married, I'm gonna marry Michael Baldwin. Oh, he's funny when he needs to be funny, and he's stern when he needs to be stern. He did mention that he wished he would have been able to get a look at Fenn's contract with Hamilton Winters before it was signed. Why did he mention that? I hope that Fenn does not end up learning the same lesson that Anna did the hard way. Is there any possibility that Devon could have slipped a clause into Fenn's contract, not to hurt him or anything? I mean, Lauren was quick to say, nah, Devon wouldn't do anything shady. He's on the up and up. But I wonder if there's any possibility that there could be a clause in the contract saying that the writer has to reveal their identity in order to produce more songs with the artist. I don't know. I'm probably grabbing at straws because I don't know why it is that Anna is continuing to guard her songwriting secret with her life. She even tells Fenn this week that if he knows what's good for him, he'll just keep quiet about it. I don't understand. At first it seemed she had given the excuse that she didn't want to reveal herself because of the bad contract she signed in the past. But then this week she admitted that she's not really worried about that. She's not worried about Devon stealing her music. She's not worried about contracts. She's not really even worried about money. There is an opportunity for her to make more in royalties, but she just chooses a smaller lump sum payment. Is that right? I don't understand. What is it? What are your theories? What is Anna's secret? I'm trying to connect the dots with the little bit of information that we were given this week. I thought it was interesting that both Sharon and Neil separately made a reference this week to the debacle that happened with Tessa and her music career. She also had a hit song that ended up becoming steeped in scandal, and she got pulled from the label. She got unceremoniously fired, and it did cause problems for Hamilton Winters. So why was the problem with Tessa's song brought up now, especially in the context of what's going on with Anna? I'm just not sure. Is it because I can think of a couple different possibilities? Is Tessa being brought up because once Anna is revealed to be the ghostwriter of this song, is there going to somehow be legal or ethical trouble that causes the song to be pulled, that causes an issue for Hamilton Winters, that ends up causing, therefore, a rift in Devon and Anna's relationship? Is he going to find out that she was the writer and that's going to mess with his business and then they're going to go at it? Or we also previously had speculated that maybe Tessa and Fenn knew each other. Maybe Tessa was the mystery unnamed guitar girl that Fenn said he met in a bar one time doing open mics that sparked his interest in having a music career. But he certainly didn't recognize Tessa's name when Sharon said it. She mentioned that Tessa had a hit song with Devon and that it didn't go well, and Sharon called her by name. So I suppose it's possible that Tessa could have been using a different name at the time. Is that the connection? Or here's another idea. Is there any chance that Tessa could be helping Anna to write these songs and that's why Anna doesn't want Devon to know about it? I agree that Mia was the aggressor during the whole furnace fix with Arturo. But I don't agree with Arturo blaming her for the fact that he was tempted. If Arturo was so easily led by Mia and her temptations, then that's on him. I can blame Mia for seducing him separately, but I'm also going to blame Arturo for giving into it even a little. I think that I want to believe the best of Arturo. I think in his heart, he knew that what he did was wrong. He got himself caught up. It clearly scared him because he ran right over to Abby's house early, very early the next morning to tell her that he loves her and he wants a future with her. And I honestly thought he was going to propose to her in that moment, but he didn't. I tend to want to believe that Arturo is a good guy. I want to believe the best in him, and that he was just genuinely going to Abby and professing his love and commitment because he was genuinely scared straight. I want to believe that Arturo loves Abby and he just got caught up in something with Mia and that he won't let it happen again. But only time will tell. Mia and Rey's relationship, I am not so sure about. Rey came home the morning after nothing happened with Sharon, and Mia tells him right away that she knows Sharon was in Kenosha too. I was expecting Mia to sit on that information and just wait and play it out, but no, she confronted him about it, and Rey assures her that nothing happened. He admits that Sharon was there, doesn't tell her that Sharon slept in the same room with him, but he assures Mia nothing happened, everything's good, and Mia in turn admits that Arturo was there with her during the furnace debacle, but she doesn't admit that anything happened there. Rey's reaction was actually a little more surprising to me, because you would think that finding out that Mia and Arturo were together would have made him jealous, but instead he said, good, I'm glad that Arturo was here with you, and I'm glad that you can feel comfortable being around him and trusting that nothing is going to happen. We have to maintain trust within our relationship if it's ever going to work. So I see this as a good thing. So Rey came mostly clean with Mia, but I think not that it was okay for Rey to withhold the truth, full truth, nothing but the truth about Sharon. But I also think Mia withheld more information. She said she really played down what had happened with Arturo. And the fact is, Mia wanted Arturo before she ever caught wind of what was potentially going down with Sharon and Rey. She was making moves on Arturo before that information came to light. So she was kind of actively trying to cheat on Rey with Arturo. She just used the furnace thing as an excuse to try to seal the deal, and I think that she'll probably try to do it again. I mean, Mia was summoning Arturo back to her apartment the next day to meet and talk about how they should just stop talking about this, stop talking about their almost kiss the other night. Mia is going out of her way to insist that Rey is what she wants, and Arturo is going out of his way to insist that Abby is what he wants. Okay, well then if that's the truth, what more is there to talk about? That should be the end of it, right? The vibe between Sharon and Rey the next day was a little bit more mature, I think. At the police station, Rey tells Sharon that he's really glad he didn't have that affair with her, which had to sting. I mean, he's sitting right there saying, oh, phew, good thing nothing happened. I mean, I'm so glad that nothing happened. I mean, because my wife is so great and our relationship is so totally back on track, and I'm just really glad that nothing happened with Sharon. Sharon. I'm so glad, Sharon, that nothing happened with Sharon. I mean, that had to sting. But on some level, Rey just has a little bit more credence with me. I somehow believe that he means it. Like, I believe that he is happy that his marriage is going okay. I don't think he tried to do anything with Sharon. I think he tried and has tried to resist Sharon. So, I don't know. There's just something about Rey that comes off a little bit more upstanding. He made that comment to Sharon about how the one promise that he made to himself in his life was that he would never turn out like his father. And so it puts Rey in a little bit more context for me, because I think that Rey's commitment to Mia and the marriage is really more about being a commitment to himself, to the kind of man that he wants to be, and to the kind of life that he wants to lead. Carrie's got a syringe, her whole world's come unhinged. I don't get it. I got nothing. I got nothing for why. What could possibly be her motive for wanting to syringe Jack? I don't get it. I've got nothing. I mean, maybe it's not that. I mean, maybe it's not sinister at all. Maybe she's diabetic. I got nothing. She went from kissing and canoodling to syringe real quickly. I mean, it occurred to me, and it can't be true. It occurred to me, is it Patty? Is she crazy Patty? Did Patty have surgery to make herself look way younger, like 40 years younger? I don't think they make surgery that works that good. So I don't know. I was really into Carrie this week. She had me at Jack of Hearts, the custom-made perfume, or cologne, right? Man perfume is cologne. She had that made just for Jack, had a custom bottle and everything. You know, I screen capped it. It was beautiful. I loved the moment. I loved the custom perfume moment. It's Jabot related. It reminds me that she's a chemist. It was romantic. It was sexy. I love that moment. Things were going so absolutely well. They go upstairs. They seem very into each other. They're having sex all over the place like bunnies. And then afterwards, Carrie's sneaking downstairs to her purse to pull out that syringe. I just don't know. Jack almost catches her and she makes up some excuse about how she was checking her phone, and then she was getting ready to sneak back off to the office without even saying goodbye, which is not even the first instance of Carrie being flighty like that. It comes off as disrespectful to Jack. You were just gonna leave and not say anything? That's weird. And then in the previews for next week's show, Jack was, I think, telling Kyle that he thinks things with Kerry are over, that they've run their course. I mean, it's seeming to me like maybe Jack is realizing that she's flighty, and maybe he's looking for someone who is a little bit more considerate, a little bit more mature, a little bit more stable, a little less syringe happy. Kyle and Lola's winter stargazing scene was very, very adorable this week. I am so glad to see Lola feeling strong and confident and secure with her big, gorgeous smile that gives Kyle his big, gorgeous smile, and also a really big letdown at the end of all of their dates. What a sport, you know? What a sport. Kyle plays by every single rule that she makes. He minds his P's and Q's. He keeps his hands in his lap, never in his pockets, never asks for more. He doesn't even dare spend over $19.95 on a present for her. $19.95 is max. I laughed when he announced that he bought Lola a star named Kola. And then she looked at him like, you did not just buy me another expensive gift. And he's immediately was like, no, 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 no. I can show you the receipt. It was $19.95. Learned my lesson. What a good guy. What a cute scene. They had their stargazing outside, and then they had gifts and a little light petting on the inside in the living room. And then instead of topping off the evening with sex, they topped it off with hot cocoa, you know, the kind that has those little synthetic marshmallows on top. I find it very difficult to believe that Kyle Abbott had little powdered cocoa packets at the Abbott mansion in current day, and yet he admitted that he's never had mac and cheese out of a box. I mean, I don't know. How do you have powdered cocoa and not powdered mac and cheese? I guess when you grow up with Mamie or Mrs. Martinez around, you get absolutely nothing but the freshest mac with cheese straight out of the Wisconsin cow. Shut up and enjoy it. That was my mantra for the week, and that was also our Who Said It quote for the week. It was Abby. She said that to Lola right after giving her that big old fat paycheck for the new restaurant. Lola tried to protest it, all those big old fat zeros, and Abby said, you know what, just shut up and enjoy it. I like the way she thinks. Congratulations to everybody who caught that. It was Lynn, Henry, Heather, Susan, Cece, Gary, Ambrine, Nancy, and Diana. Congratulations. Here's a new one for you. It's just a little snippet of something. Masculine without being overpowering. Who said it? Masculine without being overpowering. If you think you know, go to yrchat.com and leave your guess. If you get it right, then I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Ugh, your comments are the highlight of my week, so let's dig in. Laura says, Kane, the poor man bungles every situation he's in. He makes me feel like I'm making pretty good choices in my life. I know, right? I think that's part of the reason why I like soaps, because it's fun to watch somebody else screw up who's not me or somebody I know, and there's just, I don't have to deal with any of the cleanup. I just get to watch the cleanup. Laura also says, hey, Crystal Khalil, if you want to go off on recurring status, then Kane is automatically on the market. I don't want to wait out this long distance altered contract relationship. Kane is ours. I really think Y&R should have just made him ours right from the jump, but how else would they do it? Maybe this is just their way of giving Lily and Kane a divorce. I really think that's where it's headed. I think Lily is going to find out about this. She is going to divorce him, and he's gonna be free to pursue whatever kind of guilt sex he wants to have with Victoria. They're both gonna be single. They're both gonna be miserable. So I guess misery loves company. So why not? Oh. I wish that Lily and Kane's breakup wouldn't have been cheating related though, but I guess it suits them considering they've both cheated on each other. Ooh, what if Lily went and had a little affair in prison? That would be juicy. Diana says, I can't believe that Billy just walked in on Victoria and Kane like that. He has no business walking into Victoria's house, invading her privacy. It looks like Victoria needs to keep her doors locked at all times. I didn't even think of that, Diana. He did just walk right in as if it was his house. He was perfectly happy to snap back into their relationship as if he was the man of the house again. And Victoria, in all fairness, never gave him that green light. Every time Billy asked if they could get back together, she said, I'm not ready, and he didn't hear it. Oh, Zuberplex says, it appears that Billy has sunk even further than one could have imagined. He is the lowest of the low right now because if the previews are any indication, he has chosen to snitch on Kane and Victoria's kiss to Lily. That explains the punch delivered by Kane. What was Billy expecting Lily to do with this information in prison? She is absolutely powerless to do anything else but swallow away her misery. Is this the best solution of exacting revenge on your enemy, making a completely innocent third party suffer? Saw the preview of the punch, think it's gonna be good. Billy's opening up the door and Kane is delivering a fist. There's only one reason why that would be. Kane's gonna find out that Billy told Lily and he's gonna go over there and punch him and we're gonna get to enjoy the fallout. But yeah, I agree. I think it's completely wrong of Billy. I wonder if anyone can give a counter argument to that. Is anyone for reasons other than drama, thinking that Billy had a right to go tell Lily. I just think it's cruel. As you said, Superplex, what purpose does it serve other than revenge and hurting someone who didn't do anything in the process? Yeah, I think with the way that Lily is just cold and distant and focused on her current situation, I think she's going to divorce him. Laura also says, I'm having trouble getting past Billy's revenge sleeping with Summer. It was too creepy and incestuous. I can't get behind his and Victoria's budding romance. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Laura, because we are just getting over Billy having sunk all the way to the bottom with the gambling addiction and the revenge sex with his girlfriend's daughter. And he had a little bit of a reprieve. I feel that Billy's support of Victoria had an effect of redeeming him, and now here we are. He had to go and do something petty, like telling Lily about the kiss with Kane and Victoria, and that negates it. It's a shame, really. Well, comments about the Victoria versus Phyllis poll question from last week, asking you in the Victoria-Phyllis feud, who are you rooting for? Gary says neither. Rooting for neither of these. Phyllis speaks for herself, Gary says, and I'm not buying Victoria's poor, pitiful Pearl act. Man up. Yeah, you know what? I could see that. They're both perfectly well capable of defending themselves and giving as good as they get. Ambreen says, I don't think Victoria would have told Reed, but he did need to know. However, Phyllis did the wrong thing at the wrong time. I'm Team Victoria for this one. Yeah. Superplex says Team Phyllis all the way. There's next to nothing she can do wrong in my eyes, even when her motivations are entirely self-serving. I want her to blaze a trail of destruction across the Young and the Restless universe for the simple reason that I find it in my demented soul entertaining. That is the right attitude, Superplex. I appreciate that about you. Marianne says, I like Phyllis better than Victoria, but I feel Victoria is the one to root for in the rivalry since it is her life. I currently like the actress who's portraying Phyllis better than the writing for her character. There's a very interesting interview with Gina on Dishing with Digest, the Soap Opera Digest podcast. She compares her roles on Y&R, Guiding Light, and One Life to Live. She said Phyllis is similar to her Guiding Light character since she often had nothing to lose. That is a good assessment of Phyllis's character. Phyllis has always existed in that nothing to lose state. And maybe that's why the character is interesting. In all honesty, I did vote in the survey that I would like to see less of Phyllis. And I made comments saying that it has nothing to do with the Emmy Award-winning actress Gina Tognoni. She's fabulous, and I think the character of Phyllis is fabulous. I just want to bring it back a couple notches. I don't need her to be in every single storyline. I agree with Superplex in that Phyllis's reign of terror through Genoa City, and as Laura said last week, moves plots, it pivots plots, absolutely 100%. I just don't think, I think she's more effective when it's not pivoting every plot, you know? I just want to pull it back a little bit, but I agree. Gina is a gem. I love Gina more than Michelle Stafford, and I've said that many times. So I'm on Team Victoria, I think, but I do have mad appreciation for Phyllis. Oh boy, let's talk about Nikki and that. Nikki and her trigger happy gunshot there. Ellen says Nikki is alone at the ranch saying, "Hello, someone there?" Shoots the gun, and then, whoa, cool it, man. It's the 70s. We just want that groovy neon zigzag blouse back. Oh, yes. Nikki firing the gun into the abyss when it's just the 70s calling, wanting their blouse back. You know, we always end up having this conversation about those blouses with the long tie fronts. I loved it. I screenshotted, there was a beautiful capture that showed Nikki in 2 mirror images. She was walking by a mirror and it had her reflection in it. You can see it at the website. And I was looking at it later, admiring how beautiful the shot was and admiring the beautiful blouse. I would wear it. I would absolutely wear her zigzag silky blouse with the long tie. But I kind of like 70s style. So maybe that's just me. I thought she looked gorgeous in it, but I can see why you wouldn't like it. I can. It was maybe a little dated, but I like retro. Just me. Diana says, I can't believe Nikki just shot a gun without even seeing who was there or giving a warning first. That seemed pretty crazy and irresponsible. Why wouldn't the ranch security tell her that Victor was there? Okay, first of all, it would have been great if Nikki just would have fired off a warning shot into the chandelier or something. That would have been funny. And second, I'm sure that Victor walked up to the ranch security office and probably gave them a little shh, put his finger up over his mustache and said, shh, don't tell her I'm here. This is going to be a great surprise. She's going to love it. Soapy Llama says, I'm surprised Victor isn't less trusting of Michael after his stunt way back when of purposely losing Victor's case and almost losing his right to be a lawyer, if I recall correctly. Yes, very nice flashback. I believe that Michael was representing Victor in that trial where he ended up going to prison for a while, the one with Phyllis. And it was found out that Michael was trying not to give Victor a fair trial. He was trying to actively get Victor convicted. And I think Victor fired Michael before the actual court hearing got settled. But Victor did have a moment of when Michael showed up at the jail saying, you know, I don't want you. Why should I trust you? And I think that it was a nod to that. So I'm glad that you mentioned it this week, Soapy Llama. Daisy says, Nick's expression when his dad praised him, looking as if he might be thinking something like, all it took to please my dad was to stick to my guns. He loves me. He really loves me. I hope we see Nick back at the Newmans soon, emerge with Dark Horse, perhaps. Yes, I know. It was very clear that Nick got that validation from his father and it felt really good. I don't know if I want to see him merge with Dark Horse, but I don't feel fully that the rivalry between Nick and Victor really worked. Y&R tried, but yet they didn't put enough effort into it. They tried, but they didn't try hard enough, and I'm just not sure at the end of the day if Josh Morrow really pulls off the antagonist. I think he is much more of a lover boy. He's fun, he's comedy, he's light, and I like him that way. I mean, Dark Nick did have its charm, but I just don't know that it works long term. So seeing Victor and Nick going at each other, it just wasn't quite an even match. I would much rather maybe see Nick and Victoria go at it a little bit, but I have to say, your comment about the Newmans merging back again does remind me that I got one of the things I wanted this week. The Newmans coming back together. We had all of the animosity between them tossed out the window. Nikki told Nick, Victor came home, Victoria showed up, they all kind of hugged and came together and are now operating together to fight a common enemy, which is what I like to see the Newmans do. So in that way, that's a big thumbs up for me. Leslie says, I feel cheated that Nikki didn't tell Nick about Sharon and Phyllis. See, I think that Nikki didn't tell Nick about Sharon and Phyllis because that's going to blow up soon. I think Y&R just wanted to give us a little hint of the secret. And I think when Nick finds out that Phyllis and Sharon knew about JT, I think he's going to be angry with them both. I think that Nick and Phyllis, ultimately, their relationship will not stick. And I just for some reason I have a feeling that Y&R is going to use this secret with JT to break them up. Although that doesn't really feel totally even consistent because Nick didn't seem mad at Phyllis about what she said to Victoria. I don't know how he's going to be mad at Phyllis for choosing to keep a secret that helped his mother. But yet at the same time, it just feels like the writing could be on the wall. Unless Phyllis is the one who is planting all of this evidence and stuff, that would give them a reason to break up. Or I could just be off. I don't know. Let's start speculating. Let's see. No, wait, I don't want to miss this one because Soapy Llama says, did I miss something? Nick was furious with Phyllis, and now without any sort of talking things out, he's completely cool with her again. I really don't get it. Did his talk with Nikki about JT make him go all sentimental about loving people? Because they could die at any time, perhaps? I don't know. He did just forgive her immediately. I thought he was at least going to put up a little resistance, and instead it was just like, nah, let's kiss. It's fine. But I just have this weird feeling that Nick and Phyllis are going to break up. And maybe it will be revealed that Phyllis is the one who's framing Victor and taunting Nikki. I don't know what the motive is, but Connor says, Nikki and Victoria, why are you not putting two and two together? Who was in charge of getting rid of the fire poker? Whose idea was it to not tell the police? With that being said, it's clear as day that Phyllis is responsible for more than what she said she is. I wouldn't be surprised if she and JT are partners in crime. Hey, did anybody else catch? I could be wrong, but I don't think so. When Nikki was explaining to Nick on Monday about what happened with the fireplace poker, she said that she threw it in the lake. And then later, when she was talking, I don't know if it was the next day or if it was later when she was talking to the girls, the Margarita crew, it was acknowledged that Phyllis was the one that threw the fireplace poker in the lake. So which is it? Did anybody else catch that? I think that's a little bit of an inconsistency, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I mean, it's like on a level it makes sense that it would be Phyllis, and on another level it doesn't. I just don't know. Zoberplex has an interesting theory saying, the last time we saw a sinister and mysterious observer watching closed-circuit television monitor, it was Adam. Watching Connor's nursery. He was heavily gauzed and virtually a prisoner of Sage and Constance. Is Adam alive this time? That would be such a sweep, right? I mean, if that was what they're planning for February sweeps, I would die. But I also feel like that theory has been floated so many times that I just can't count on it until I know it for sure. Y&R needs, that's what I should have put in the survey, Adam. That could be dicey though, because it has to be the right Adam. But if they did get the right Adam, that would be so good. I like your theory. Soapy Llama says, most people suspect Phyllis, but I'm having trouble believing it. I think Phyllis is too concerned with covering her own skin to make it her mission to scare Nikki, which could prompt a confession. I don't see what Phyllis has to gain from toying with Nikki's sanity. I know. Neither do I. I just don't know what her motive would be. Marianne says, I definitely think that Phyllis is framing Victor. I don't think she meant to freak Nikki out. She wanted evidence against Victor. She hates him. Remember when she mowed down Paul and Christine years ago? It shows that she is more capable of doing this. The question is, can she be doing it alone? I think not. So either JT is alive or maybe she made a deal with Tessa. Whew. Yeah, maybe could it be that she's planting evidence against, well, if Phyllis would have planted the poker because of evidence, wouldn't she have called the police? But Ray was out of town, but there's other cops. I don't know. It just makes my head spin. I just wish Y&R would tell us and get us out of this story. Gary actually makes an interesting point that with Reed leaving the show now, it reduces the likelihood that JT would end up being found out to be alive, because if JT were alive, then there would be more story for Reed and not less. I think that is probably true. It's true. But we could still have a JT twin. That's still a possibility. I think I just love to have Thad, Luck, and Bill back. It probably ain't gonna be happening, but any theory I have about JT being alive is just purely sort of just based on hope. I just want this storyline to go away, and I really kind of liked Thad, Luck, and Bill based on nothing. You're probably right. I should let it go. But it's been months and I still haven't, so who knows. Soapy Llama says, to answer your question on if Victor talked about Victoria's abuse on GC Buzz, I remember. I believe his exact wording was, you did XYZ, you put your hands on my daughter, and so forth. It really stuck with me, and I've always wondered why none of the characters realized it. Yes, that's in response to Zuperplex's comment the previous week that it's really not such a big deal that Phyllis revealed Victoria's abuse when Victor revealed it on GC Buzz. I had completely forgot about that. I almost wonder if the writers forgot about that because if everybody already knew about Victoria's abuse, then it wouldn't have been a huge bombshell that Phyllis said it. So that's a really good catch, Zuperplex, last week, and following it up this week, Soapy Llama. Okay, lots of folks have really been loving that new ranch set with the fur blanket. I really like that fur blanket. I'd love to get one of those for me to snuggle up on the couch with. Gary wanted to give us a blast from the past. Remember when Victor's tower office burned down and a month later Genoa City Construction had it back open for business with the same Oz paint job and Victor's portrait and every last previous accessory? Yeah, I mean, how many times has Y&R burnt down a set or got rid of a set and then just restored it? The only thing they didn't do it with was the only set I really would have cared about, which was the original ranch. If they had to have Sharon burn down the original ranch, why didn't they just rebuild it the same? Maybe it seemed like they just wanted a different set for that, and now here we are having that fireplace room as an alternative to the rebuilt ranch. I wonder if that set took up too much room with the staircase and everything, but it seems like that's the new Newman home. I mean, can we acknowledge that it seems like the ranch we're now in a different part of it? And that's okay. It's nice to see something fresh, but it is definitely a change. I don't know what it says about how much we'll be seeing those Newmans, but we don't even see Victor's office anymore now that you mention it. Not at all. We sometimes got to see Victoria's office and Nikki sharing it and Victoria sharing it and even Victor in there. But yeah, Victor's office is gone. Main ranch is gone. I mean, I guess I can't complain because I do like switching up the sets, but I like our classic homes. Never really loved the rebuilt ranch though. Let's skip on over to Sharon and Ray. Leslie says, I kind of feel like Ray and Sharon did do something wrong. They should not have been in that situation going out of town all alone in a storm with Ray from Miami driving. They went because it was an excuse to be together. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they definitely went because Y&R wanted an excuse for them to be together. Ellen says, Sharon and Ray make a super hot couple. If I can't have old original recipe Adam back, give me Sharon and Ray. I like Sharon and Ray. I do. I'm open to Sharon. I'm more open to Sharon and Ray than Mia and Arturo. It looked from the previews of last week that Mia is going to be taunting Arturo. He's going to be trying to step up his game in the romance department, and Mia is going to be thwarting that at every chance he gets. He's going to be trying to swoon Abby, probably will end up proposing to her on Valentine's Day or something, and Mia's going to end up just spilling it. Oh, well, you think he's all committed to you, and then why was he almost kissing me the other week? You know she will. I think definitely Abby and Arturo are about done. And I think Y&R will move Abby and Devon toward each other. Laura says, somehow I don't care about Anna's songwriting secret trauma. I'm not invested enough yet. They need to give me her involvement in a storyline before I can wrangle up any sympathy for her. She's still too new. You know what? It doesn't bother me as much that Anna's new. It bothers me that they've given us no clues. Every week is just stonewalling about why she wants to keep this secret, and I don't have any idea why. Give me something to jump onto. I mean, we did get a couple potential connection points this week, but I don't know how strong they are. Daisy has a really good theory here that I think maybe validates something I was thinking. Daisy says, what reason would Anna have to hide her music from Devon? Why would she want a lump sum rather than to wait for the full amount? Does she owe someone money? Is she in trouble? Is this really her song? The only reason I can think of as to why Anna told Fen it's her song but told Devon it was someone else's is because it's not her song. I don't think Anna pulled a Tessa though, but what makes the most sense to me is that Anna got help from the song. On the song from Tessa. Anna could have made a deal with Tessa to, 1, hide her identity from Devon, and 2, help her get her actual music out there. Tessa needs money, so it would make sense that she'd want the money up front rather than to wait and see if it's a hit. As for Anna, she gets her foot in the door as a producer, and if it's true and the song's a big hit, it'll be a huge win for Tessa and Anna. Well, if they survive Devon's wrath, that is. Maybe. There has to be a reason that all of these things are coming back up. Y&R is doing nothing with Tessa right now. That may be. I kind of had a little wondering about why that was being connected, and I vaguely thought that might be the case, but I think you just convinced me, Daisy. I think Tessa's actually writing these songs. She's in cahoots with Anna. Yeah, and Anna's hiding it to protect Tessa's identity and give her a little bit of money. You may have got it. You may have got it. Well, let's see if we have any predictions about from the peanut gallery about Carrie and what's going on with her in the syringe. Soapy Llama says, I heard rumors that Carrie is transgender and is taking her hormone medication, kind of like the Maya Rick storyline on The Bold and the Beautiful. I don't know if I'd be a fan because I'm just not sure Y&R knows how to handle LGBT issues properly with them scared off of offending their typically older audience and all. I never would have thought of that in a million years. That never would have occurred to me on any planet, but it's possible. I watched Bold and the Beautiful, and they had a transgender storyline. It is certainly possible, but I do share your concern that Y&R might botch it. They have not done a very good job lately of handling sensitive issues. Yeah, I don't know. Anna has a different prediction saying she thinks that Kerry is the one framing Victor and taunting Nikki. Anna says maybe Kerry knows JT. Maybe she was his lover. I think that's her secret. Ooh. I know. She's got to be connected into something. There's just got to be something. Maybe. Yeah, if anybody else has any theories about what on earth Carrie could be up to, I am all ears. Happy anniversary, by the way, Anna. I'll end on one last note here from Sandra, letting us know, chatters, that it has been confirmed at soapcentral.com that Gloria Judith Chapman has landed a new role on Days of Our Lives. She will be playing Kevin, Greg Ricart's mother. I feel like I heard that a little while ago, but now that you mention it, damn, I wish I would have voted in that survey for more Gloria. Maybe it would have been too little too late, because I want to say she got cast a little while ago, and maybe she's just now showing up on screen. So I probably wouldn't have made any impact voting for more Gloria, but that is what I'd like to see. It almost makes me jealous that Days of Our Lives is getting her. It almost gives me a reason maybe to tune back into Days. Okay, everybody, there are my thoughts. I've got them all out there. Your turn. Your turn to tell me what your thoughts are. YRChat.com is the website. Get your thoughts and opinions in on that Kane and Lily poll. Find the link to take that survey. You have to take that survey this week. Y&R needs to know what we think. We could actually change things. Here, I'm like a political activist. If there's anything I'm actually gonna get myself together to actually try to affect change on something, it's TV. Nice, Allie. Real nice. I'm ready to, I want to use the full force of the Y&R Chat army to go and try try to change some things, impact political things. Like, I won't be found marching on the White House lawn, but I will be found marching on the CBS lot. Oh, how lame. My priorities are probably so totally out of whack, but so are yours, admit it. Oh, okay, well, that's my confession. Those are my thoughts for the week. I love you guys, and I'll be back next Sunday to chat about our favorite little naughty desire of our show. It's one of those things that you just can't help it. It's a little bit like eating in the middle of the night or something. You know, you probably shouldn't do it, but you're doing it anyway. Y&R, like eating in the middle of the night. Okay, everybody, I love ya. Double. Have a good week. Bye.